What's up, guys? Welcome in. Welcome in. This is the first edition of the JP and Trav Show live from OUInsider. As always, it's your host with the most, JP, better known now as Jalen Posey. And to my right, I'm my esteemed co-host, brother and friend, Travis J. Davison. Travis, how are we doing, man?
Doing great, man. Couldn't be happier to be over here at OU Insider. Obviously, I've been doing a lot of stuff with them for years now. I think going on 4 or 5 years. Thrilled that as part of the shakeup, you were able to join us over here. Obviously, in an expanded role for yourself, but an expanded role for me. It's very cool. JP and Trav show. Obviously, we got our folks that have been with us forever since the beginning. Since I was cooking under the hood vent. Nobody could hear anything when I was going live from Oktoberfest, sharing recruiting info from about Nicholas Harbor that I wasn't supposed to be sharing, and this that. Look,
Yeah.
it's been a long time. It's a lot of fun. Glad to be here, and glad I probably won't. I have left Team Sports Consulting Group, but I haven't told anybody about what I'm doing next. I've got some meetings. I've been having some meetings in Norman that have been going very well, and I believe I'll have my official, um, my official offer letter and acceptance for my new gig in the coming days. So excited about that. Everybody stayed tuned. And yeah, just excited, man. Obviously, old Drew England in here, tattoo, the official, what's he calling himself? The design editor for OU Insider, or the official editor or grand poobah of, graphics, or I don't know what he's calling. But Kaysen's in here, Kill a Horse, Stymac 87. Exciting times, man. So exciting times. We're gonna, for those of you that are new to the show, perhaps we've always kept it pretty casual. We always have guests throughout the season, a little bit through the off season. We like to keep it casual. We like to keep it real with you guys. So that's what you're gonna get. And it is weird to see Jalen Posey above your name. For the longest time, I had your cell number saved as Indy Sooner. So now occasionally I type into my phone when I'm looking to text you as Indy, and I'm like, man, okay, I forgot it's saved under Jalen Posey. But it's weird to see printed on a background. But hey, we're growing on up. So, anyways, what was your first reaction? Like Brandon reach out. I know I'd been talking to you a little bit about it. Walk us through how you became under the OU Insider banner.
Yeah. It's been a really a whirlwind of a month or so, and definitely so honored and blessed to be here. Obviously, like you said, talking with you about it, and Brandon reaching out, and obviously Brandon's been a friend of the show for years, and you've been doing some stuff with OU Insider the last few, but I just could feel nothing but honor, honestly. Um, I think that it's a dream come true for me in a lot of ways because for those who maybe don't know anything about me and are unfamiliar with the JP and Trav show, again, JP being Jalen Posey. My entire family's from Oklahoma, but I live in Indianapolis. That's why my handle is Indy Sooner, because I was born and raised in Indianapolis, but I got Sooner blood. I actually told Brandon the other day, I say that I was raised 317, but my blood is 580 because my whole family's from Ardmore. And I've been to Oklahoma every year of my life. I've been a diehard Sooner fan since I can remember. My mom went to OU, graduated in the 80s. My sister just graduated from OU in 2024 and ran track there. And so I've always had very strong Oklahoma ties. And getting into, the Twitter spaces and getting into YouTube in the last, 5 or so years, that was a dream in and of itself because I've always wanted to do something with covering. I would talk my wife's ear off. I would talk my friend's ear off about, Oklahoma football and everything that's going on, stats, this, that, right? Oh man, we need to just spit it out on the show. But it took me forever to actually feel confident to do it. And so I started to do that. We got traction with JP and Trav. And long story short, just to see that that has brought us to this point. And Trav and I, have been friends now for I mean, yeah, just about 5 years, and even how our relationship started, and how we've become like legit brothers. Like he stayed at my house so many times, and my daughter calls him Uncle Trav, and so to come from humble beginnings, and to now be on OUInsider, one of the premier platforms, in all of Sooner sports and recruiting, is just it's a blessing, and it's a dream come true.
Yeah, man. Excited about it, and I know, there's been the shakeup. Obviously that, I express my gratitude and well wishes to, other friends of the program, right? Parker Thune and Brody Lusk and Jesse Crittenden and all their new ventures. Obviously, go check them out. I always feel, as somebody who is with two OU entities, both KREF and OUInsider, obviously, and then at one point JP and Trav as well. So I was three wide at one point. I've always believed that, like, watch it all.
Yeah,
Earlier, J Legend 19 said, "Nice, I watch all the shows, so really no difference, just on another channel." So a lot of people, technically marketing wise, they'll say, well, you got to be, it's tribalism, right? You got to be on Scoop, or you got to be a OUInsider guy, or you got to be over at 247, this, that, and the other. Like, look, everybody talks about Oklahoma sports from a different perspective. Obviously, a lot of guys are, more plugged in than you and I on the recruiting side, or
mhm,
different sports specific or anything like that. But at the end of the day, we're all talking about Oklahoma athletics from different perspectives and different opinions and different deliveries and different platforms at different costs, everything like that. Anyways, whether it's, the Oklahoma Breakdown, or Sooner Scoop, or OUInsider, or Sooners Illustrated, or Crimson Captain, or TFB, or I'm sure I'm forgetting some, like, even just sports specific Diamond Envy podcast with Tyler, the Oklahoma baseball experience, maybe the best sports specific content that we see, from Schulte and Johnny Baseball. Like, there's enough content being made, and I know that Oklahoma fans are extremely passionate and can consume it all. I know that much. So, no further ado, let's actually get into talking about Oklahoma athletics. So, I guess the news of I don't know, the day. I believe the groundbreaking was yesterday, but they've officially broken ground on the Rock Creek Entertainment District, something that was talked about whenever Porter, especially, and Jenny were both hired. It's, hey, look, we know the LNC is at times stuck in the 70s. We're going to bring you a new arena. And it just felt like, oh, it's something, that this pie in the sky thing, it's eventually coming, it's eventually coming, it's eventually coming. And it wasn't, it never did, until now. They broke ground on it, and I'm sure still, some legal pitfalls that they could fall into, but, man, big day for University of Oklahoma athletics, JP.
yeah, no, it's a huge day. I mean, when you think about just all the things and hoots, they had to kind of get jumped through to get this done, and just the investment that I think it will be, to the city of Norman. We talked about it on the JP and Trav show a few weeks ago, when there seemed to be some theoretical pushback, from the city council, just how good this would be. Obviously, yes, for the university, but even for the city of Norman, and giving them something to I want to say leech off of, because we know how great, obviously, the Oklahoma City Thunder have been, and the city of Oklahoma City is growing. But it's an opportunity, right, for you know the Sooners to take a piece of it, break off a piece of that. You know what I mean? Say, hey, when you come see the Thunder, come on down here. Come on down to Norman, Oklahoma, and see what we got going on in the Rock Creek district. And so it's going to be fun to see what it turns into. I mean, $1 billion space is amazing. I mean, it's really truly, um, something that I think is going to change the face of Norman in ways, and honestly, may even change the face of college basketball with the way that it's going to be, presented.
Classic. I think really one of the early conversations about it that people don't seem to understand, and Roger Denny brought it up when he came up to Tulsa. He said, "Look, we did a full audit of the basketball program as far as arenas go and fan bases and all that." He said 30% of people who own season tickets to OU basketball, OU men's basketball, are not going to the games. We're not getting them through the door. So it's not necessarily that they aren't willing to spend money on the product. It's that the product, the experience, everything, it's not been enough to get them through the doors. Now, is it the early weekday, tips they can't get to, if they live in Edmond or in Oklahoma City and they're fighting I-35 traffic? Is it the product itself on the court? Are some people buying basketball season tickets simply get more Sooner Club points to better their football purchasing? Absolutely. There are people who do that. But how do we get more people to actually use their ticket, right? Because I imagine that 30% seems really high, right? So, one of the points he brought up is that the LNC, the best seats are the farthest away from the concessions. Like, if I'm paying for the best seats, why am I having to walk the farthest to go get a beer? Right. And that obviously cuts down on, on concession sales because I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm down here, I'm courtside. I got to walk all the way up there, walk all the way up into a tunnel or something like that. No, I'll just pass, or I mean, we got popcorn machines catching on fire, bro. So it's like, we got to figure it out. So, with that added premium seating important, but man, it's what are some of the best basketball venues you've been to, JP?
On the collegiate level, Trav.
Either one.
Anyway, I mean, I know I may seem biased because I live here, but I think Gamebridge Fieldhouse in downtown Indy, where the Pacers play, I think it is one of the better um, field houses, if you want to say, or basketball venues in the country at any level. They just do a good job, and we know that's because Indiana is very, very well known for basketball. From Hoosiers, all that good stuff. But also, I would say Assembly Hall is one of the nicest and most unique collegiate basketball arenas I've been to, and the way that it's kind of like you never been there, but man, it's just so imposing because they build it like from this way up, and it's like you're coming down on the court, and so it's a unique facility. But again, it's something that it's at the center of the campus. It's something that obviously is kind of the fabric of Indiana, being a basketball kind of state. Even though obviously IU football has been doing what they've been doing. But I would say that if I were to point to one from out of state, honestly, a few years ago, and some of you guys know this that have been following us, but I am an athletic director currently, and I went to Grand Canyon University a few years ago just on an athletic director trip with fellow ADs from around the country, and they actually have a very nice. I mean, it's smaller because they're a smaller D1, but man, like it's set up really nicely. I mean, they got spaces for their boosters and everything, even in like a 5,000 seat arena. But it was state of the art. Had a lot of great things going for it. So those were some of the nicest ones that I've been to personally that I can think of.
I'm glad you brought up that, it's only 5,500, but it's nice. They did it right. It's got spots for the boosters and donors. And really that's what it comes down to, right? You need premium seating because premium seating provides revenue, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about revenue generation now more than ever, right? Ever since you started paying athletes, you need to generate revenue. And so those premium seating. I mean, the amount of premium seating that the football stadium has, and Roger Denny brought this up. He said, look at the football stadium. How many different suite areas do you have that are basically, hey, look, this has these food and drink options. This one has this food and drink options. Like you've got a private bar over here. Oh, you've got a suite with your own bar in it and your own food in it. And there's 5 different ones. I mean, there's the East Suites on E201. You've got the E100 East Suites. You've got the East Club. You've got the South Club, and you've got the Santee Lounge. So you've got 5 different premium seating areas, and this is, pre-renovation where they'll have even more. But it's just all of those things, they generate a ton of revenue. So that's what this is going to do for the University of Oklahoma in a lot of ways, but also the size, right? The size is, a lot of people think 8,000, why are we making it so small? I know high school arenas, look, you don't need, look at football around, look at NFL stadiums, right? Even the Oklahoma City Thunder in their new arena, technically going to have less seats than their current Paycom. So the Thunder, the, world champs, right? JP, I don't know if you remember that, but world champs. And even they are making a slightly smaller arena, right? Because it's about environment. It's about experience. It's not about just how many butts can you cram in the seats, right? Gone are the days of that. So, Ryan brings up the pit in Albuquerque, right? That's 8,800 people, but it's got the sunken floor. It's got great noise. It's got a unique design. And I know a lot of people say New Mexico Lobos, like, come on, we're a better program than New Mexico Lobos. Well, Duke holds 9,300, the most famous atmosphere in college basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Butler, right up the road from you, holds 9,100,
Yep.
right? Gonzaga holds 6,000, right? I mean, when you look at NC State at 5,500 over there in the Reynolds Coliseum, it's just the idea of, man, we got to have 20,000 people. Like, who says who? Says who? You can generate more revenue if you do it right with 8,000. You can create a better atmosphere with 8,000. People, opposing fans have called the Lloyd Noble Center the Barnes and Noble Center because it was like a library playing in there. It felt so cavernous, feels so cavernous, things like that. I think it's going to be a roaring success. And Kaysen had talked about, just what you could do with the family, right? So he says it'll be a great thing. It'll be near so many places to eat and hotels. Area is built up now, so much to do. That's the thing, right? Yeah. It's a night with the family. And the cries from the public of, well, you're moving it off campus and you want students there. Students weren't going in the first place by walking. And I'm sorry, JP, but if you're already driving to an arena and you're a college student, wouldn't you want to drive to an entertainment district or Uber to an entertainment district that's got bars and restaurants and things to do and entertainment and nice stuff? Like, that's where I'd want to go. I mean, maybe a lot's changed since I've been in college, but I would have much preferred to go to a basketball arena surrounded by entertainment. Correct. Right now, the Lloyd Noble Center, like, unless people are tailgating or unless they're somehow sharing a baseball weekend and you can go have a beverage or two with the Burn Bums, like, there's nothing to do. So it's like, moving it over there, the only argument that I'll even give any credence to is if you're a City of Norman resident and you somehow feel that you aren't happy about the tax dollars, like, that's fine. Like, I'm not going to argue with your experience. Like, I'm not going to argue with your day-to-day lives. I don't think that, like, and maybe I was talking to my buddy Doobie about this the other day. I don't think that like any city's just going to shut down all of their public services because of tax dollars. Like, I assume, maybe it's just growing up an American, I assume every government's broke. Like, it just is what it is. There's deficits. Like, what are we in debt? Like $100 trillion or something like that. Like, I don't know. We're all still out here, trying to do our best. So it's just, like, if you have tax concerns, I understand. I can't speak from that perspective. What I can do is speak from a perspective of somebody who's been in a lot of arenas all around this country, and it's just, and who's been a college student before that was trying to go to athletics events. It's going to be great. It's going to be absolutely great. This is good for OU. This is good for basketball. This is good for gymnastics. This is good for the city of Norman. This is good for OU basketball fans. It's good news all around. And despite what you see in the Facebook comments of it, most people believe that it is as well.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Trav. I mean, it is expected to include retail, restaurant, an office space, hotel, housing. I mean, there's so much for people to want to come and do. And if you have bars, if you have even a housing space, like again, does that mean it's going to be affordable for students? I don't know, but if you got an upperclassman that's like, hey, man, I want to live at the Rock Creek Entertainment District, hang out there most of the time. Like it's just natural, and it's something that's going to be new, and that people are going to gravitate to, you know, off of that. And the hope is that obviously you have a team that deserves that type of arena. As we've had many conversations about, women's basketball is in a great spot. Porter obviously is going to get some investment, starting off with this right from Roger Denny, and hoping to see. And obviously we've seen him make some move in the portal too, right? But hoping to see that if Roger puts his money where his mouth is, that Porter is going to actually be able to produce something. Because I know there's just been issues with the fans of like, well, we see this and we're so inconsistent. And he has, we went 13-0 one year, and then we, finished the year like 3-13. Like, just there's been some inconsistency, but there's not been consistency on his end for investment. So I'd be interested to see how it turns out. And yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see what it looks like once it's done, and yeah, to see what we get to do from here.
Well, and you bring up Roger Denny. That's my pops. Everybody
What's
say hi
up, Mr. Davidson?
to my dad tuning in. I think they're at Hideaway Pizza right now. Actually, my
I love
mom.
that.
Appreciate all the thoughts and prayers. I know a lot of you guys have been, along this journey with
Yeah.
me. It's for those of you that don't know, my mom. She's been through it. She's been diabetic since the age of 10. Had a heart attack at 37. Heart attack at 47. Went in for a cath lab. About 3 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, you're anemic. We can't give you the souped up blood thinner to do your cath lab. So either go home, get some iron, get your blood count up, or we can take a scope and just see what's going on. So they do the scope, find 100% blockage in one stent, 80% blockage, 70% blockage, and a bunch of other stuff. So what started as, hey, we're doing a cath lab, it was, hey, we're having emergency open heart surgery on Monday. So we're going to give you blood transfusions and get your blood up, and we're gonna try and do this. So, long story short, she does that. The 5-hour surgery is successful, but she gets double pneumonia. So she's struggling, breathing situation going on, has to be intubated after the surgery, breathing treatments and the whole 9 yards, feeding tubes, all that kind of stuff. But she's a fighter, strongest person I know. And she's back home now, still on oxygen, still fighting, but going through. I was over there today. The therapist came over and went over her stuff with her. She's got to do a little exercising and whatnot to try and get her heart and her strength back up and her lungs back functioning. So, anyways, appreciate all the thoughts and prayers. I know a lot of you have been kind of with me down this road for what feels like the last month. You know what I mean? So appreciate you all. But yeah, hello, Dad. So yeah, I think with you brought up a good point about Denny and basketball, right? It's like Roger Denny came from Illinois. He said when he got hired, he goes, look, I've seen what a good basketball program can do for an athletic department, right? Think of, softball and baseball. Baseball played for a national championship in 2022. They've been to the postseason a bunch since. They've hosted, softball. It's the greatest dynasty in the sport's history. That they're playing into June. Football plays into ideally December, January. But Roger knows that, man, it's a lot easier on donors if they're able to root on a winner all the way from when fall camp starts in August all the way to the College World Series and Women's College World Series in June, right? And if they can do that, or if they want to do that, they're going to have to make sure that that basketball is playing late into the year, you know. So he said, "Look, I'm going to resources, right? I'm going to invest in things that are worthwhile investments." And look, basketball, it's one of the net positives when it comes to the budget. Football drives the bus, there's no doubt about it, but you know, basketball is at least in like the sidecar. You know what I mean? It's at least,
Yeah.
it's at least hooked up to the trailer hitch. Like it still drives revenue for the athletic department. And with Oklahoma having the fourth largest NIL budget out of the 16 SEC teams, those are the results you're going to get. So I expect lots more investment across your major, like your three. And I know OU softball is a unique animal when it comes to revenue generation, but traditional, it's football, basketball, then baseball. I expect that. I expect those sports to be poured into from a
Mhm.
financial perspective. I think Roger Denny sees those as good investments. So this is another step in the right direction with the Rock Creek Entertainment District. That's really wordy. They need to shorten that. You can't. It's
Yeah.
not even a good acronym. Ricky did. Like
Yeah.
they're
That's
gonna call it the Rock.
yeah.
Rock
The
Creek.
Rock
I
would
don't
be
know.
fire,
I don't know.
or just
We'll
Rock Creek. Yeah.
maybe in the comments after this, we'll take suggestions on a nickname for the Rock Creek Entertainment District because that is too long. We got the LNC. I guess we could call it the RCED, but even that's too long. Too many
Yeah.
letters for an acronym. So, anyways, looking forward to hearing your suggestions. But JP, what do we have next for the people?
Yeah. So next is a JP and Trav kind of specialty, if you want to say that. Something that we've been doing for about a year now, and are going to bring over to OUInsider. We like to react to games. We did a few times in the off season last year. We reacted to some old highlights, like from the 2010s and whatnot, reminiscing on some of those days and whatnot. And we just had a pretty big showing from it. People liked it, and so we enjoyed looking back on games. But we decided, hey, to start this offseason off, why not look back at the games we played like last year, right? And re-look at some of the good things. Obviously, we're looking at highlights, so we're not going to see a ton of bad things, but just reminiscing and looking forward to, okay, how can this player even get better? Wow, look at that play they made there, and maybe even talking about some guys that got drafted, if you will. So without further ado, we're going to start with obviously week one, which was Oklahoma versus Illinois State. All right.
Nice. So, for those of you that have been watching the show for a while, occasionally we would struggle to turn the sound off, and then we would get kicked off of YouTube. So, I told JP, I said, "Hey, look, man," I said, "we got a larger audience now." I said, "We can't get demonetized because we
Yeah.
forget to hit the volume button."
Nice.
So, um, anyways, this was season opener. Illinois State, a team that went on to play for a national championship.
They did.
They went to
That's a
play for
fact.
the FCS national championship. So, Oklahoma, the future, FCS runner up coming to the house. And, I think that actually helped a little bit on the strength of schedule metrics, which is crazy because when this game opens, you don't expect that. But yeah, this was a fun
People were
game.
happy. I mean, you remember how people were acting? They were like, "What?" And it's still, I mean, even FCS, championship team, we should have run the ball a little bit better on, but it just goes to show that there's good football being played at
That
different
catch,
levels.
I was like, all right, Deion Burks is he's gonna have one heck of a year. I remember that down the sideline. I was like, oh, here we go, Deion Burks. He's
Yeah.
gonna be the one. This is Litnikoff, like sideline, like look at that. And little did I know it was Isaiah Satania who would be, one of the most electric electric players in the SEC at the I mean, look at that. That's preposterous. I mean,
Yeah. It's a great
one
catch.
hand secured it on the
He's in my
sideline.
city now. He's in my city now.
I know, man. You got to take good care of him up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was going into this game. Everybody was like, "Okay, John Mateer. We've heard about the rushing. We've heard about all that, And then we see this, and we're like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, like
Yeah.
we got light skinned Lamar Jackson out here. Like this was crazy. Like, think back to your perspective of never watching John Mateer play football before, right?
Yeah.
And that's just what you see, and you're like, I mean, I know it's Illinois State, but he just looks different,
Mhm.
Man, how much the running back
Javante
room
Barnes.
changed across the year, man. Early
Can't
on,
say.
it was Javante. Were
It's,
you
yeah.
at all concerned that it took us the entire first quarter to get down into this type of territory? I
I
mean, the new
was.
offense, you're like, John Mateer, Ben Arbuckle, we're going to be high flying. We're going to be high scoring.
Yeah.
John Mateer had 44 touchdowns a year ago. Ooh,
Yeah. I mean,
intimidating.
I was. I was. Again, it was more really with the run game because I felt like we saw John do some nice things, but just we couldn't get any movement. Had some like had some punts, and you're like, man, I guess Illinois State like, and it's like, well, maybe we excuse it because we're getting going from so much the first game, all those things. But yeah, I mean, I remember how X was. X was popping. People were not happy. And they're like, this is what it's supposed to be. What's going on? And actually, if you're in the chat and we're watching along here, go ahead and throw in the chat what you guys thought during this game and what you remember. That's one of the best things about reactions is we all have different perspectives. Some of us were at the game, some of us were watching the game, some of us were doing different things or saw this from the game. So we'd be interested to hear. But yeah, Trav, that's how I felt. That's how I felt at
For,
the time. What about you?
for me, it felt like, well, I don't know if this offense is going to light up scoreboards, but I know that it may not matter because I'm not sure who's going to score all that much against this defense. Like
Mm-hmm.
and I had talked all off season, right, about, hey, look, I know Danny and Billy are gone. Like, I get it. But I think it's just safe to assume that Oklahoma under Brent Venables in year 4 is going to be a really good defense. Like, I just really believed it. I believed in the recruiting. I believed in his development track record. I believed in the coaches that he hired, really namely Todd Bates, that he brought from Clemson. It's just trusted it. So, yeah, I mean, that's where I was at with it. I was like, the offense might get its sea legs, but it may not matter because the defense is going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Can you
All
believe
SEC tight end. Could you imagine right there? It was all SEC tight end, Jaron Kanik.
That's what I'm saying. All SEC and draft pick. Jaron
Yep,
Kanik.
as a tight end. Shout out Joe John. Matt Blackwell, appreciate the congrats on the new platform.
Thanks, Captain.
Ryan C says, at the time, I felt they were fighting through nerves, trying to find a rhythm. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Stymac gives us the only Major League Baseball update you'll probably ever hear on this show. Atlanta Braves, first team to 30 wins. So appreciate you, Stymac. Tyler McComas appreciates you somewhere, I'm sure. Yeah, I felt
here.
like this. It was very much like just trying to find a rhythm, a lot of pressure, biggest crowd John Mateer played in front of, that's for sure. So, Stymac says probably top 20, 25. That's pretty. That puts a lot on your defense right there. Just, I feel like in today's age, especially given the expanded playoff, it's like you play so many games. Like, I feel like you need to be top 10 in both. I don't know what
Yeah,
Indiana was last year. I mean, I know with Mendoza, they probably were up there,
they
but they
were
also
definitely
played a
top 10 both.
but they're
They were top 10 in both for sure.
yeah. I think there was a little bit of like they didn't go through the grind, but once they got onto the big stage, they were able to make it happen because they were
Yeah,
so fresh, not beat up. And a lot of it's his style, right? I mean, no pads during practice and walkthroughs and really a professional model, right? Because he's like, look, NFL teams only have 53 men. They can't be out there trying to take each other's heads off in practice.
yeah.
Yeah, Torrey Blaylock, man, he got the juice.
I'm excited. Yeah, I was gonna say, Trav, I'm excited about what the running back room looks like. We talked about it a bit, and we've had some nice plays from Satania, and which we'll see him again. We'll see, what he does, wide receiver one. For anybody who's asking, but man, just seeing what they even look like during the spring game, Trav, and Dylan's record, just track record as a running backs coach, right? I mean, the viral clip with Brian Kelly saying, "If I was a running back, I'd want to go to Notre Dame." Well, he's at Oklahoma, buddy.
Yeah,
So,
he's at Oklahoma now.
I'm excited to see what he turns our yeah. I'm excited to see what he turns our running back room that's already clearly talented into.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch. I mean, I mentioned it when Brandon and I did our breakout players, but the one on the one hand, you've got the young, exciting guys, right? Jonathan Hatton Jr., chief among them, but does Evan Walker is that dude as well. But you've got Torrey Blaylock and Xavier Robinson. Um, oh, what happened? They're saying policy violations. Did it? Oh no, we got to take the game down. We're having policy violations. There we go. We didn't play
That's
the
insane.
sound.
No, that never happened. Huh? I didn't play the
Man,
sound.
that's what I'm saying. We didn't play the sound. I know, man. We got ops. We got ops out
Oh
here.
well,
Hey,
is
but
what
that's
it
all
is.
right. I've got it right here, so I know when we'll come back. Man, people I'm gonna type in.
It's just interesting because that never happened to us it never happened to us when it happened to us really not even when we were reacting. It happened when we were doing our rewatch of the game from the previous week, and we had clips like you said, the clips were more of the issue with the sound, and it was ESPN currently. We never had issues doing these reactions, so that's actually interesting to me. But if they're not going to work, we're not going to continue to put them on here because we don't want to, take you guys away from anything that we do and everything like that. So sorry for
Yeah,
those
I
who are watching on
wonder.
Facebook, but we're still live, obviously on X and everything like that, and a lot of you guys are in there. But I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, showing game clips. I don't know because maybe in the past it wasn't the sound. Maybe the sound gets you like caught earlier or something like that. But
Mhm.
I mean, it's already on YouTube.
Yep,
Like, and the guy who puts the videos up, like, he's fine with it. So it's not him.
correct.
Huh. That's interesting. I mean, I wonder, you know, like if his videos don't get taken down, that's all the video
It's
is
just that.
him showing the video. So it's like if ESPN is like, oh, we have the rights to this, let's go ahead and clip it, like he wouldn't even have a channel.
Yeah,
So usually this happens and then, the stream unavailable thing, comes back up. But oh, there we are. All right, we're back.
we're back. Apologies again about that, guys. Like I said on the JP and Trav platform, when we did our reactions, that never happened to us. It was anytime we had a clip from before that maybe had a sound on it was when we found out that ESPN didn't like that and everything like that. So we worked with our buddy Sooner Gridiron actually, you know, that had the opportunity to clip some of those videos for us, and that we'll work with again this year with the show. But Mr. McIntosh, he does all these highlight videos, and he's a great part of Sooner YouTube and on X. We have a good relationship with him. He said, "Hey, you guys want to react? Use my highlight videos." And we said, "Great." We turn the sound off. No issues ever. Literally have not happened ever. Unfortunately, on our first show, on OUInsider happened, and that's unfortunate. But we're back. We're here.
That's so crazy. Like, because like I said, like we're playing something from YouTube on YouTube. For it to trigger, copyright stuff, like that's wild. I don't know. Maybe it's just because we're monetized or who knows. But we are back. I appreciate those of you that have my number texting like, "Hey, you're not on. You're not on." But we are back. So we are coming up on 9 o'clock here local time. JP obviously on Eastern time, so he's up late. But suppose we'll just close with a little Q&A, right?
Yeah.
You got questions about JP. Some of you may not know him. Any questions about just the kind of the direction of OUInsider? I've been kind of on the ground level of talking about what we're going to do moving forward, and about how the difference of going from, because keep in mind Brandon's been message board guy for 15 years, right? Well, we are building a website, message board, but like this is a YouTube company, you know what I mean? But we're going to have a lot of content, daily content on here. We'll be going live probably, I don't know, with the JP Trav included 3 times a week. So lots of live, lots of recorded stuff. So we'll have content up every single day. So I know a lot of you came over from JP and Trav, but go ahead and like and subscribe to OUInsider on the path to 25,000 subs. I believe we're at like 23.4, something like that right now. On the path to 25,000 subs. Would love it if you guys would help us get there. But a couple of questions in the chat already. Stymac wants to know what we all want to know, JP, is not have you ever thought about, but when are you moving to Oklahoma?
Oh man, that's definitely something I would have to convince the missus of. But there's been talk about it. I think, from my wife's perspective, if I were to ever do something full time at the university, or, just be, I don't know, like if this were ever to turn into a full time thing that was making us some good money, maybe she would consider it. I think she loves Indianapolis, and I love the city, of Indianapolis. But, I know in doing things and being part of things like this, being in the state makes it so much easier. Obviously, I'm grateful for the access that we have through social media, through texting, all those other things. But I plan to be in Oklahoma probably at least twice a year, and maybe more the older my kids get. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Anything can happen, right?
Yeah, older your kids get. That's interesting. Stevie G, longtime friend of the program. JP, sorry your Pacers got fleeced in the draft. Let's start with that. What happened, bro? You guys tanked, and it didn't work.
It's actually disgusting.
Didn't you guys win like 19 games or something?
Something like it feels like this was just a wash of a season for no reason. And yeah, we got Zubac, but it's like the odds of us
hang the banner
not getting top 4 were very small, and it happened, and it just sucks, man. Like it feels like we can never get a break, get PG, when we get Reggie's teams ready to go, we got the Mouse at the Palace. PG, shatters, has the nasty leg break. wasn't really the same. And then he got unhappy here and then wanted to leave. And then we finally get Tyrese, and we're in Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and Achilles tear. Like it's just been bad news after bad news for Indiana Pacers fans, unfortunately. But we'll see what happens. We're still got a good team. We still got the same kind of nucleus besides Benedict, obviously, that we had. So we'll see if we can run it back with a top 5 big in the NBA.
Shout out Paul George. Shout out Paul George. I know y'all couldn't hang on to him, but he sure brought us a bounty. Thanks to Sam Presti, SGA included, the hopeful back-to-back MVP. And yes, I'm extremely excited for OKC to be in the Western Conference Finals. Oklahoma City has been a team for 18 years. They've been in the Western Conference Finals 6 times. 33% of their existence of a franchise, they've been in the Western Conference Finals. That's pretty insane. So, yeah, excited about it. I assume we're going to match up with the Spurs as they take a 3-2 lead going into Game 6 in Minnesota. It's going to be an awesome series. The Spurs are the greatest test left in the NBA for the Thunder. Wemby obviously presents all kinds of problems. I like Dagnall kind of having time to try and solve that puzzle, but it's going to be an incredible challenge. There's no doubt about it. So, Kaysen, appreciate that, and prayers going out to your brother, who's got surgery on his lung in the morning. So, back at you. Shout out Kaysen. Best of luck to your brother. JP can't move, can't miss out on the apple orchard picking. Again, longtime JP and Trav show fans know that
it's crazy.
JP often prefers apple orchard visits to OU Texas. So
allegedly, that's alleged, by the way. I just want to point that out.
Jimmy asks, how much improved will the run game be for OU? Well, I think, in my opinion, JP, it doesn't really have an option to not improve. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you put together some games, but I think your offensive line is going to be better. I think your running back room is going to be better. I think your running back coaching is going to be better. I think your tight ends are going to be better. I think so. I think, I don't know. How would you put a number to it, JP?
I mean, we're talking percentage, or
yeah, I don't know. I mean,
grade.
I don't know. I don't know how to measure improvement in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say if we're gonna go, let's put a statistic on it. Like, I think that OU will have. This is maybe a hot take. I think OU will have an 1,000-yard rusher this year.
So, according to some quick research, 1,540 total rushing yards last year, 118.5 yards per game. So, not ideal, obviously, but 118 yards per game. What do you all think? What do you think our yards per game rushing number is in 2026? I mean, can you get to 150 a game? Can you have a 32-yard a game jump? I mean, I suppose you probably can, but average over 200 would be pretty salty there, Stymac. I'll take it, but that'd be pretty staunch improvement. 82 yards a game you'd add to last year's total. That'd be great, but Stevie's drunk. 245 yards per game. Get out of here. What are we, Army? Yeah, O-line will be more experienced. Tight end room, man. Opting into using the tight ends is going to be a game changer for this program. I mean, Hayden Hansen said in the interview, he said, I'm here to fix the run game.
Yeah, he did.
That's about the perfect thing you can tell an OU fan in your opening interview as a player.
Indeed.
I'm here to fix the run game. Welcome to Oklahoma, buddy. We're happy to have you.
In the SEC though, are we saying 220 in the SEC or just like overall in the entire?
Averaging 220 a game, Jimmy says. Let's see.
I mean, what do you think of the new run scheme, Trav?
Well, it's kind of one of those things. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
I'm hearing good things, but let's. So there were only. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 teams last year that averaged over 200 yards per game.
That's what I'm saying. It's pretty high.
Their Missouri Tigers were the only SEC team that did, and they had that outside zone that they just spammed because it was their entire offense. Indiana was one of those teams. Michigan was one of those teams. Obviously, Navy and Utah led the way. Air Force, Army, all the service academies always lead the way. But Jacksonville State was up there. James Madison, playoff team. So, but if you look at just like P4 teams, you've got Utah, Missouri, Florida State, Indiana, Michigan, and Notre Dame, who had Jeremiah Love. So pretty rarefied air to average over 200. 220 a game, it's really getting dialed in there. So, I mean, 220, you're looking at, 10 teams in the country that did that. Will Oklahoma all of a sudden be a top 10 rushing team in the country? JP, if they are the national champions.
I agree with that.
Like, simple as that. If you have a Brent Venables defense and a top 10 running game, you are the national champions. Congratulations.
Yeah. I mean, if we would have that last year, we closed out a lot. I mean, obviously we closed out some games in different ways, but we closed them out a lot smoother. And certainly the Alabama game maybe looks different in ways. If we have a running game.
You probably win the national championship last year if you're a top 10 rushing attack.
True.
Like combining a top 10 rushing attack with this defense would be the recipe. Now we'll see. I mean, obviously I think it's going to be highly improved, but we'll just see. They'll have a lot of opportunity. But to your point, games to close them out just get so much smoother. But part of that's got to be Ben Arbuckle maturing as a play caller and saying, hey, and John maturing as a quarterback saying, hey, late game situation. And I know I bring this up ad nauseum, but like throwing the ball late in the fourth quarter against Tennessee when you had the lead and you were running the ball at will, just because the numbers in the box said so, right? You look at the numbers in the box and you're like, oh, heavy box. That must mean I throw. And he threw a pick. And it could have been a disaster. Could have lost the game. And the thing is, the reason the box was stacked is because that's what you're supposed to do there. Run the clock, run the ball, protect the ball, and you get out of there comfortably instead of having to sweat it. So, understanding that, time, situational play calling, situational, actions from John, situational quarterbacking will play a huge key in that.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't know if he wants I don't know if he wants a high flying offense theoretically. I think he wants an offense that can go put up some points and take some pressure off his defense.
Yeah.
Like that's what he wants is he doesn't want to have to keep a bunch of NFL offenses out of the end zone all night. He's up to the task. Like he won't back down from a challenge, but like he would love a grind it out, but he wants some run insurance, right? He wants to get up by a couple scores so he can send his, just army of pass rushers and go take down a quarterback in obvious passing situations. Like that's what Brent wants. He doesn't want to be in one score games all the damn time. I promise you.
Yeah, he needs some space. He needs some ability to tell his dogs to go eat and hunt.
Yep.
And when they were able to do that last year with R. Mason, right? And Taylor Wine,
The closers.
man, now we got maybe another one coming, and Danny Okoye, what he's
Yep.
looking.
And Jay Krell and all these guys, man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be nice. Going to be nice. But the clock has turned to 9 p.m. local time, 10 p.m. JP time, JP Standard Time. Got anything for the people before we sign off?
Man, just thank you guys for those who are new to our show, for being here tonight. Those who have been with us from the Genesis, we appreciate you guys rocking with us all the way to OU Insider. Again, special shout out to Brandon Drum and giving us this opportunity. And so we're looking forward to it. And again, we're going to be here consistently. So we'll be back next week, same time. And man, we really appreciate you guys. Yeah, that's all I got, man.
Yeah, I mean, echo that sentiment. And like you said, back next week, same time. Both of us, with him kind of, finishing up as an athletic director, moving into a new career, myself moving into a new career, and being on this platform, we want to be more consistent with our time, time to start, time to finish, what day of the week we go. If you guys remember, we used to be Wednesdays. We were the OG Wednesday live show. And then OUInsider was the one that was like, oh, we're going to take Wednesdays now. So then we moved to Thursdays. Well, funny how the cookie crumbles. Now we're the OUInsider did indeed boot JP and Trav, the YouTube show, off of their Wednesday time slot, but we are the ones doing the booting this time. So we'll see you next Wednesday at 8 o'clock Central. And until then, Boomer.
Sooner.